In this video, we'll learn how we can print the star patterns. That is, how we can print the letter using the stars. Okay, so in this case, as we can see here, we are printing the Z letter over here. Okay, so for printing Z letter, we can clearly see over here that we are having this first row, then the second line and this third line. We are having 3 lines with the star patterns in it, and the other spaces are blank. Okay, so now if I talk about the eye counter will go like this, as we are having 5 stars over here. So this is first row, second row, this is third row, this one is fourth row, and this one is fifth row. Now in this case we will take J over here. Okay, so we'll now start it by n. We'll start the J by n, so which is in this case n is 5, so we have n. Then we'll decrement it by 1, so we have 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, like this. Okay, so now we'll talk about the case when we have to print the star, but before that I'll initialize the J counter over here. Okay, so now if I initialize the J counter here, as we are initializing J from n and J is going till 1, so n to 1, and we are decrementing J by 1 in each iteration, so minus minus. Now if I talk about I is initialized from 1 and it is going till 5, which is n in this case, and we are incrementing I by 1 in each iteration, so 1 till n with increment in each loop. Okay, so here we can see that 5 is n. So okay, so 1 2 3 4 5, you can see here we are having 5 stars, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so according to the input n, the rows will change. So this is our n. Okay, now we will talk about the cases when we are supposed to print the star. Okay, so you can see this row. In this row, we have I is equals to 1. Yes, in this row we have I is equals to 1. So in this case, I is equals to 1. So we are supposed to print stars in this row. Just a second. Okay, now if I talk about this row over here, in this case, I is equals to n. Okay, so we need to print stars in this case also when I is equals to n. Now if I talk about this diagonal row, okay, in this diagonal row we can see that for this first star I is 5 and j is also 5 over here. Okay, now if I talk about this second star, j is also 4 and I is also 4, and similarly if I talk about this last star, j is 1 and also I is equals to 1. So it means for this diagonal row I need to check the condition that when I is equals to j. So every time when I is equals to j, we need to print the star. When I is equals to 1, we need to print the star, and when I is equals to n, we need to print the star. Okay, so now we'll design the program for this. Okay, so I'll open Sublime Text here. We'll got a new file. Okay, I'll name the class. Okay, better that I'll change it in this one only, the previous pattern which we have made in the previous video. This is the same program. Okay, so I'll remove it from here. Okay, now here we have one more curly braces for the closing of main function. Okay, so now here we'll initialize integer I, then we have j. Okay, we have 2 variables only, and yes, n also. Okay, we need 3 variables. Okay, so in this case, and as I am taking n is equals to 5, so I'll initialize it over here. Now if I talk about the first loop, here you can see my first loop is about I. So I is going from 1 till n and is incremented. So we'll write here initialize, first of all we initialize I is equals to 1. Then we have the while loop where I will go till less than equals n, and we'll increment I inside it. Okay, now if I talk about the statements in this, we have a nested J loop inside it. Okay, so if I talk about the J loop, we can see here that J is going from n till 1 and is decrementing. So n till 1 with decrementation. So J is equals to n. We have initialized. Yes, this will go till equals to 1. Okay, now here we'll check for three conditions. Okay, as you can see over here, we are having three conditions for I is equals to 1, I is equals to j, and I is equals to n. So we'll place all the three conditions over here, that if I is equals 1, or we have the case if I is equals to n, or we have the case when I is equals to j. Okay, we have these three cases over here. If this is true, then we'll print a star over here. So we'll put system.out.print and a star inside double quotes. Okay, now in case of else, we'll print a space. Okay, system.out.print a space. Okay, done. If I skip this space portion over here, then this would not be okay, as just suppose if I didn't printed a space over here, then the cursor will not move forward and it will create a problem. So that's why we need to print the space also over here. Okay, so now we haven't printed the next line character till now. So in this case, if we see when we are supposed to change the line, we'll change the line after each I loop. Okay, so in this I loop, I'll print SOPLN. So here we have system.out.println. Okay, so now I'll just save this code and then we'll run it. So here we have the CMD. Okay, that is the compile command is javac. The name of file is pattern.java. For running it, we have the java command, and the class name inside which the main class is present is pattern. Okay, so you can see over here we got the z pattern over here. Okay, but this is not that much good, so we'll give a space right after it so it looks much more good. Okay, yes, now I'll save this, and when we'll run it again after compilation. Okay, just a second, we need to give double spaces over here. Yes, so here we have the pattern. Okay, you can see it over here. Yes, I have put this properly visible to you guys that this is a Z pattern over here. I'll also draw the shape. Here you can see this is the Z pattern over here. Okay, that's it for this video. In the next video we'll learn about some more characters. Characters are absolutely simple and the same logic will be applied over here. Now suppose if I talk about this case, then in this case only this condition will remain same, that is when I is equals to 1 we'll print the stars, when I is equals to n we'll again print the stars. But for this middle row we'll put some condition such that when j is equals to n by 2 or so, you are supposed to do the half of the n. Okay, so suppose if you are taking the odd number, if you are taking 5 digits, then n by 2 will result in 2. Okay, so the second row would be your output, as 5 by 2 is 2.5, and so when we'll round off it we'll get 2. So you need to increment it by 1. So your third column will be printed with stars. Okay, now for T you will remove this condition over here, you will remove this condition. Now for F and E also you need to think about the logic. I have already told you about the logic you need to use. Now it's up to you that you want to practice or not, or you just want to see and sit on one place only without practicing. If you think that without practicing you will learn it, you are absolutely wrong. This programs, as Java is a programming language, and by programming language we mean something which require practice and a lot of practice also. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you. See you guys in the next video.